Let's go on to the next question. What do you think is the something you feel difficult living in Japan?
Yeah, I think from my experience, I think what has really been tough. You can actually feel a bit lonely in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I think because mostly if you're a foreigner. But I've noticed like Japanese, just with the time that I've been here, I need to be very careful. Japanese are quite closed people. They are very closed, so they don't fully open up.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Japan is said to be closed society.
Yeah, and I think that can be very maybe tough for foreigners to navigate.
So we should be more open-minded to the foreigners.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't really say they should lose that, but I think it's really difficult for like me as a foreigner to really navigate how do I come in, or how do I really know this is friendship. I think that's really difficult for as foreigners to really navigate, and I think you can actually feel lonely. There's that loneliness, and I really think Japanese are used to be alone, doing things alone, and I think if you're an extrovert like me, it can be very tough, really, and I've really found that tough living here, and also just the language as well, because I don't fully understand, so that can actually be a huge barrier, I think, for maybe living in Japan, I think, as a foreigner. Yeah,
for foreigners from Africa like you,
yeah,
find it very tough that the Japanese people are not open-minded, and the Japanese language is quite different from your language.
Yeah, not just maybe from Africa, so I've really met and I
foreigners in general.
Yeah, I think they've kind of like really experienced that. Yeah, I think that's
So, you think foreigners like you find it very difficult to live in Japan because you don't have a sense of the accepted?
I'm not saying Japanese people should change. I think they should embrace that. They've always had that. I think it's just very difficult for foreigners to kind of like navigate and say, okay, how can I, come in, or how can I build a friendship? Where do I stop? Where do I not say things? I think it's just really difficult to really navigate in your mind. I think that can be really be difficult for foreigners, and I think there's so much strong culture as well here in Japan, and I think the Japanese are so much ingrained with that, and I think it's beautiful. But I think just as a foreigner to really find your way sometimes can be very hard.
I see.
I think it's interesting. Like now I'm working in my workplace. Like I'm seeing it in the workplace, and on the friendship level, it's really different. And they behave differently at work. They behave differently outside. So, yeah, it's a little bit confusing, a little bit.
So the attitude of Japanese people towards you are different at the workplace and after work.
Yeah, I think you can be confused. I think it's good to have it. You don't have to be the same in your workplace, but I think it's a little bit confusing sometimes.
Confusing.
Yeah.
You wonder which is the real Japanese people.
Yeah, I really think sometimes I really think Japanese people are beautiful people and are wonderful and just living in this beautiful country, I think it's beautiful. But I really think sometimes maybe I think are they truly living their are they truly being themselves? Maybe this is what I can see as a foreigner, but they are being them. But for me as a foreigner, I'm like, oh, maybe you are not truly being yourself. It's a bit confusing. Yeah.
I can understand what you feel, and that's something Japanese people have to overcome in order to be truly internationally minded people.
Well, I guess to an extent, but I think it's good to embrace where you're from, your culture. I guess, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The Japanese really hold it. But yeah, but I guess it's really maybe difficult for a foreigner like me living in a different culture. It can be, yeah.
In that sense, traveling around the world is one of the way to overcome.
Yeah. I think it
And
just
we have to realize that there are so many different cultures, languages, peoples, and there's different values.
Yeah. And I really think if you, like, I know you've traveled, you've been to different countries. I really think just, perhaps just really taking yourself from what, you've always known all your life, like it just really changes how you see things, how, you just look at life, or even just living in your country. I remember when I was in Zambia, never traveled, but like I really put myself forward to really meet foreigners, understand where they're from. It just really begins to change your thinking and say, life is not just like this, but like we need to do these things like this. So I think it just really changes how you really look at things.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Through traveling and living in foreign countries, you can develop your sense of new perspective, and you can accept the different values.
Yeah, and I think you can also learn that in your own country. So like just the example I gave earlier about like me, when I'd never traveled, when I was in my country, so I would make friends with people that are from different countries, building friendship and learning. For example, if you were in Zambia, I was like, I'll be interested in your life, like how you do life in Japan.
Right.
I think it does really change on how you really see things. And I think if you go to a different country, it even really changes you on a bigger capacity.
You have totally changed after traveling many places in the world.
Yeah, I really definitely really think like the way I really look at things, the way I do things isn't the same that I was before I even left my country, or even before I met friends with foreigners. I really see things differently, and I think it's interesting. Now I'm living in Japan and I totally see things differently. And if you take me back to Zambia, isn't the way I'm not gonna think like my how Zambians really think and do things. Yeah.
Let's work on it from now on.
Yeah, I think we can do that together.
Did you notice this mark?
I definitely did, actually. I did.
Will you read?
So, Win Language Services.
Yeah, this is the logo.
What's the meaning of that? What's behind the meaning of that?
This one?
Yeah.
Let's speak English.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So I was just wondering. It's like, okay, I gotta say this properly. Like, Green Language Services. Yeah, and thanks for having me again.
Nice talking with you.
Yeah, please have me. I'll be very pleased to come here again. Okay.